and they show 88,376 new cases, which is 10,000 more than yesterday, and it's another daily record. But in better news, 745,183 people got their booster jabs yesterday. Today, hospitality bosses have been meeting virtually with the Chancellor, he's abroad, pleading for support as health experts send a clear message about a reduction of social activity over the festive season. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has called on the UK government to reinstate the furlough scheme. The Prime Minister, though, is still resistant to go as far as his public health advisors on how we should behave this winter to curb infections. He's stressing caution, but staying adamant that the government is not telling us to cancel events. Boris Johnson spoke earlier from a vaccination centre.
We're not closing things down. We're not asking people to cancel things. But what we are saying is people should be cautious and they should think about their activities in the run-up to Christmas. Nobody wants to get Omicron and be unwell and be forced to isolate. But the fastest route back to normality is for everybody to get boosted now.
Well, the Chief Medical Advisor, Chris Whitty, has been giving evidence to the Health and Social Care Committee today. He urged people to prioritise their social interactions this Christmas.
Everybody can see this is moving very fast and this is highly transmissible and the rates are going to continue to go up. It's a period of the year when lots of people have got things that really matter to them, family-wise, also in other bits of their life. And my point was, and I hope I can reiterate this, that people want to protect the time that is most important to them. And that does therefore mean in practice, it is sensible for people to cut down on work or other interactions with people, including potentially social ones, which are less important to them, so that they reduce their chances of catching COVID and indeed reduce their chances of passing it on.
Professor Whitty also said we can expect the Omicron wave to peak quickly.
I think what we will see with this, and I think we're seeing it in South Africa, is that the upswing will be incredibly fast, even if people are taking more cautious actions as they are. That will help slow it down, but it's still going to be very fast. It'll probably therefore peak really quite fast. My anticipation is it may then come down faster than previous peaks, but I wouldn't want to say that for sure. I'm just saying that that is a possibility. But in terms of where we're going over the next couple of weeks, the rate of increase is going to be, I think, fairly impressive.
Well, joining me now is Dr. Barrett Pankani, Senior Clinical Lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School and former public health consultant in communicable disease control. Dr. Pankani, good evening.
Hello, good evening to you.
Good to talk to you again. So yesterday we had 78,000 infections. Today, 88,000. How surprised were you by this rise?
No, not at all. And to be honest with you, Henry, I expect the actual case numbers is a lot higher. Remember, we are not counting people who've already previously been infected. So there are many people now who are getting Omicron infection who were previously infected with the Delta variant. And these new cases are not entering the database. So the actual case numbers is considerably higher than the one that is officially reported.
A lot of people will be puzzled by that. I mean, Robert Peston, who's ITN's political editor, was asking about this on Twitter earlier. He was saying, well, why aren't they telling us what proportion are reinfections, previously from Delta or even the Alpha variant or Beta variant? Why aren't we being told this, making this distinction?
It's a simple thing of what is easy to collect. And what is easy to collect is a fresh new case. What is a lot harder to discern is this a subsequent case following a previous infection, or is it a completely new case? Because the testing regime is not precise enough to distinguish between an old infection less than 90 days and a brand new infection. So if you were to do a PCR, for example, it can remain positive for up to 90 days. And
Wow.
Therein is the headache of, is this a brand new infection or is this a persistence of an old infection?
I mean, one of the reasons why I asked you whether you were surprised by the rise is I thought it was going to be a lot higher, and lots of skeptics on social media being mocking Professor Whitty and Dr. Jenny Harries of the the Health Security Agency for claiming that figures would double every 2 days. They were saying, it should be 160,000 today. It isn't. You were wrong. Your modelling is wrong. Is there a danger that this thinking will spread and people will stop taking it seriously, pointing to South Africa and saying it's just mild disease? Because I'm hearing that again today.
Yes, it is very unfortunate that people are losing confidence in our political leaders, and then our chief medical officer, and then the chief executive of UK Health Security Agency.
Not just them, Barat. It's also modelers and
Indeed,
epidemiologists.
indeed,
Yes,
indeed, all of us. And it's a pity because people have got tired, and there's fatigue, and there is a lot of upset and irritation in the system. So earlier on, we were hearing from Prime Minister Johnson about get your boosters, but he's ever so reluctant to apply the brakes. You've got to apply the brakes, as Professor Vidhi was saying, that if you want to keep the case numbers down, it's a case of fewer human-to-human interactions.
but what, in your mind, given the general fatigue of the population, the rush to get lateral flow tests and the rush to get boosters notwithstanding, what would a break look like to you?
Oh, very simple messaging, Henry, really straightforward stuff. So a break would look like this. Please reduce your parties, your office parties, your nightclubs, your pubs, your restaurant type gatherings where there's lots of office people together talking in a loud voice. Number 2, wear a good quality mask, wear it properly. Number 3, do frequent tests, and if you have any doubt, don't circulate, take advice. So it's simple, straightforward messaging like that, which will considerably reduce the generation of additional new cases.
Yeah. It seems, this is according to the figures today, we've got 11,708 confirmed Omicron cases across the UK, which is far more than our European neighbours. France has identified just 240. Now, why would that be?
I don't know, and I would be surprised that France has got so few. So are you really not looking? Because Omicron is very infectious, and once it has been introduced into a country, it really does spread. If we look at the case for example, Denmark, it is within its few days of introduction, it was widespread and almost the dominant variant there. And similarly, I would expect the French numbers to be higher.
Mm-hmm. It seems that there's some breaking news here that the Welsh Government has introduced a new two-phase plan. Now, the Welsh Government has often been much more cautious than the UK Government. Are you aware of this, and would you approve of the new Welsh development?
So what is the new plan? I'm not aware of it. I'm so sorry.
I'm just looking to see exactly what they're saying there. And let's have a look. I'll just come back to you in just a moment or two with the extra detail on that. But when it comes to the latest on coronavirus, when it comes to where we are, how long before we can definitively say whether is this a mild variant, something that we should be grateful for, or something much deadlier that will cause real problems for the NHS?
Well, I would like people to look at it in another way. We will know for sure which way it is, meaning is it not so severe disease causing or what? But I would really like our listeners to see it from a different angle, which is this. Omicron is not zero disease causing, okay? Omicron is vaccine escaping. Those are known facts about it. Omicron is also more infectious. So when we take into account that it is more infectious, even if it is mild disease causing, because in a given time, it can infect many, many more people, some of those people, unfortunately, will become seriously ill. And because more people are getting infected by something that is highly transmissible, then you can also perversely expect more hospital admissions than Delta and more deaths than Delta, not because it is more disease causing, but just simply because it is extensively transmissible and generating a lot more cases.
Right. the Welsh Government, here's a bit more detail, its two-phase plan to respond to Omicron is this. I mean, they're basically introducing new restrictions from the 27th of December, including 2-meter social distancing rules and closing nightclubs. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about, that you want to see more of?
I don't think so. I honestly, if it is just those two things, that's not good enough. Because really,
you want more?
No. Let me explain. I want less. I want a lot less. I just want effective measures. Okay. So my effective measures were and would be: you wear a mask. You wear it properly. Wear a good quality mask, and good quality masks work. Similarly, you make sure you have good ventilation in indoor buildings. Third, have less of your mingling in crowds. And crowds is all the crowds. Because remember, nightclubs is a small select group of people that go to it. What about the rest of the people who are mingling, mixing, and transmitting infections? So if it is just those two measures, I think that's rubbish. What you should be saying is a public health measure is, we expect you to wear good quality masks in public wherever there are crowds. That will achieve a hell of a lot more. Similarly with, in schools, we are going to suppress infections in schools. How are we going to do it? We are going to immunize our children as fast as possible to suppress infections there, moving on to other older age groups. Those would be the measures that will really work at a bigger population level.
All right, Dr. Barrett Pankani, a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, let's now talk to Mark Wrigley, who is the owner of Atlas.
Thanks for that, Dr. Barrett. That was fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
The doctor.
Thank you.
And Mark, I used to
take care.
back in the day when I was quite a bit young.